Let her rise in her own name. Elevator, she is healing through the flame. Yeah. She's authentic, she's refreshing, she's becoming something new. Elevator, there is more she came to do.
I love our theme song, y'all. Every time I hear it, my neck go to rocking. It's like, oh my gosh, I love it. And
Yes.
our guests, our audience, our people, I hope you love it as much as we do because it's everything for us. It really truly is everything. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Elevated Her, the podcast where nothing but grown women talking to grown women about grown women subjects. That's a fact right there. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here. We are here. We are here. Welcome to Elevated Her, where the Her stands for healing,
Mm-hmm.
elevating, and
Mm-hmm.
all about that. That's what we're here for today. And I am joined by two beautiful women, two gorgeous women, Miss Marcy Trueheart and Miss Clavia Allen. I'm going to yield the mic so one of them can take it and introduce themselves to you.
I'll go first. I am Clavia Allen, co-host of Boldly. I'm sorry, not Boldly Becoming Her. Elevated Her.
Up, up, up.
And I love the our rebrand because part of Chosen 31 Essentials, when I decided to rebrand, healing was part of it. Going through a healing alone, but then forming a program out of that where I realized we can't do this journey alone. We cannot walk this journey alone. And it pertained to storytelling. So Chosen 31 does focus on that healing journey by way of dance, publication, and media. Because I believe healing comes when we talk more about our story, because you never know who needs to hear it. A lot of us feel like we're alone in this, but as we elevate, healing takes place. So I think for me, even as I do the intro, when we have our new, as we're here, I'll focus on the healing part because that really was what helped me elevate. So again,
Mhm.
check me out, ClaviaAllen.com to learn more. Chosen 31 Essentials. Over to you, Marcy.
I love this about the healing part because of the simple fact we all came from a hurting situation. We learned to heal separately, but then we have come together collectively in our own way of healing. But the way that we are able to reach out to our affirmers. Everybody's story resonates with somebody, and I'm
Mhm.
all about healing because I was hurt, but now I understand that healing, the healing process, and I can see the reaction that I would do or say to somebody before my healing and what I might say to somebody after my healing.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So, and with Marcy Moments, I'm speaking luxury words. That's a form of healing because when you forget to tell yourself how beautiful you are, how amazing
Mhm.
you are, and then you listen to the lies of other people, that's not fair to you. So I want you to heal so you can help elevate. And you can catch me on IG at Marcy Moments. And I'm going to always give you a beautiful word to tell yourself because you are worth the luxury talk.
Yes.
Love that.
So good.
I am lagging a little bit. Hopefully, by the time we release this, it's not so much of a lag. But so just forgive me, audience. Forgive me. It's just technology is doing what technology does. But let's get to this subject today. What is invisibility, not visibility, but what is invisibility costing you? What is it costing you?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Elevator in her tongue. Ibaba Shanda.
Okay, many women believe that if they do great work, eventually someone will notice. How true is that statement? How true is that statement, Miss Clifford? You and your business, how true is that statement that you're going to just keep doing work and somebody going to notice you, right? Is that a true or false statement?
Good question. Many women believe that if they do the great work, eventually someone will notice. That's what we think, but that is not true. And I can speak for myself where doing and doing and doing, interviewing so many women, and I think I'm going hard. And not to say no one noticed, but no one knew who I was, regardless of all the doing, all the posting, all the things. So sometimes we do need to take that step back. And I'm excited about this topic because yes, our expertise can speak for ourselves and all the things that we believe, but there's a difference that we're gonna dig into. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How about you, Miss Marcy? All you gotta do is just be good at what you do. You know, eventually somebody's gonna notice you, right?
You be good at what you do. Somebody's always better at what you do also. But when you got to make some noise, and as women, we've been taught, especially Black women, because we the most educated folks around, okay? But we've been taught to dumb it down
Yeah.
because you've got some clear people who's going to be jealous, and you presented everything. You got this project, and here comes Timmy over here, and he's like, "Oh, this is what we did." You didn't do anything, but you have to be bold enough to make yourself seen.
Yes. 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 I
And
agree with
we will
that.
always talk about being seen, but we always have to remember we came from a
Be seen and
culture
heard.
of being just, yeah, not being seen, like
Yes.
kids. Well, what we used to tell our kids.
Be be
Be
seen and
seen
not
but not
heard.
heard.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still being invisible.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. If nobody knows what you do, your expertise becomes invisible labor. This statement hit me upside my head so hard. If nobody knows what you do, your expertise becomes invisible labor. So yeah, I'm going hard. I'm doing all the things, posting here, there, and everywhere. And you already know I'm not blaming the algorithm, but we know how the algorithm is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not like one of our guests said on a past episode, if you're not surrounding yourself even digitally with the right people, then you're yeah, people see you and they just keep scrolling because what your message is not for them. So even digitally, you could be doing the work invisibly.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about this visibility, Marcy kind of skirted past it a little bit because when we're children, we're told to be seen and not heard, right? So visibility, is it vanity? I think not. Not when you get out here, you have a job to do. You have, I don't even like, you have a purpose to fulfill. And in order for you to fulfill your purpose, you need to be seen. Now, how you're seen, where you're seen, yeah, be choicey about that. Please be choicey about that. But visibility is not vanity. I don't agree with that. And I think that falls under that imposter syndrome for me.
Mm-hmm.
It falls under the imposter syndrome that if I'm out there, oh gosh, do I look the way I think I look? Do I sound the way I think I sound? Am I
Mm-hmm.
being effective? Can I really do this? Wait, is this really for me? Oh, I don't like being on social media. Listen, social media ain't going nowhere.
Right.
It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's lucrative to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So why would I not get on the bandwagon to fulfill my purpose using the tools that are out there for me to use? So
Mm-hmm.
you cannot be selected for opportunities people don't know you're qualified to do. Let me say that one more time. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot be selected for opportunities that people don't know that you're qualified to do. And when I say qualified, I'm not
To
talking
win.
degree qualified. I'm not talking that you got some certification. Sometimes it's just lived experience that makes you qualified for it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I also have to remind myself about. I don't have a college degree. I don't own a college degree. Can I get one? Yes. I chose to raise children instead. So to say that I'm not qualified, you're a liar. The devil ain't, and the truth ain't in you. I am qualified for what I do because lived experience and the education that I have received may not be a degree, but trust you, me, I am educated.
Mm-hmm.
I am absolutely qualified to do what I do. And when we're out here in these streets trying to get things done, oh, Dr. So and so over there. And I'm not taking anything away from those that have their doctorate degree. I love that for you. But because I don't, that makes me less qualified to be on the stage with those that do have the doctor's degrees. I disagree with that.
For
I
sure.
have a different level of expertise. You may have the degree, some have the degree and the experience, but some just have the degree. And I'm still not taking anything away from you. My point is for those of us that have it, this lived experience, get out there. And I'm talking to me when I'm talking to y'all, probably talking to me when I'm talking to y'all. But you see my point, right?
Hmm.
Let's get to some of these points. I want to talk about this hidden assumption. My work should speak for itself. Why that belief doesn't work anymore? Well, we talked about that a little bit, and Miss Marcy said it. Okay, your work out here, but somebody out here doing the same stuff you're doing. They're being visible. They may be less effective or more effective than you, but because they're being visible, they're getting the opportunities. The difference between being qualified and being known. The difference between being qualified and being known. They look very different. Do they not, Miss Marcy?
Right. You can be qualified and not known, and known and not qualified.
Absolutely.
And that's also
So
why.
an
Sorry.
example of that years ago at Nelson Mandela's funeral, I believe it was, they had an interpreter there,
Mm-hmm.
sign language interpreter. They could have flew me to Africa for what they did, for what that interpreter did. I
Was
said,
it bad? Was it? I don't remember.
well, people, and this is when I first started learning sign language, right? And people would say, "Well, what did he say?" I said the only thing I could comprehend was the sign he smoked cigarettes in history. That was the only thing I comprehended. And basically, whoever gave him that position to, I think it was a man, to do that assignment, it was somebody that knew the person, but the person was not qualified
Mm.
at all.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
there is a difference.
So what opportunities, and this is a reflection question for our audience. What opportunities have you missed out on simply because people don't know you have the capacity to do it? And I think about myself. I remember very clearly Miss Lashana West. She's a mindset coach, business mindset coach, and she has a studio in Marietta, Georgia. Pop up and create. And the first time I met her, she said, "Tell me about you." She asked me to tell her about myself, and I did. She said, "How come I don't know anything about you?" And I'm like, She said, "Exactly. You need to get out there because no one knows you."
Yeah.
I believe you can do exactly what you say, but no one knows you. You need to get out in these here virtual streets. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Clivia with this question. I think visibility becomes emotional for many women, but how come we don't know that? Take action on it, I should say. They know visibility becomes an emotional thing, but how come we don't take that and translate it into action?
Yeah, I think honestly, and again, I'm so glad you left off with what you said, Lashana West mentioned. I think this visibility, honestly, it's fair, right? It boils down to fear. Very similar situation, and I mentioned it on previous episodes where God rest her soul, forgot her name, the young lady in England who passed away in 2025. Same thing. What was her name?
So,
Yes. And she asked me the question of who are you? Simple as that. And my heart skipped a beat. I'm like, oh, who am I? Now I know
mhm.
who I am, right? But I didn't recognize who I was. And we talk about this elevation, we talk about the becoming. And I know heaven created me, God created me before I was formed in my mother's womb, but I didn't recognize who I was. My website, once upon a time, was chosen31handcraft.com because I was making beaded jewelry. After she asked me that question, she was like, "You're doing all the things, but no one knows who you are." And I'm like, okay, time to step out on faith, remove the fear. And it was time for me to actually, my website was down at the time. And I said, okay, she's spoken to me. I'm gonna do this. Instead of putting Chosen 31 Essentials, I said, I'm going to make my website ClaviaAllen.com. That was one bold thing. Be invisible. Okay, so if you want to know who I am, go to my website. What's the website? My first and last name. Then I wrote an about me. That was a little hard because here I am now, again, being vulnerable. About me. Okay, born in the Caribbean. I never really, yes, people, when I grew up in New York, people knew I was from the Caribbean, whether it was my accent. But now I'm in a new state. People can hear an accent, but I don't talk about being from the Caribbean. So now it's again being more visible, because then, okay, my audience might be wider because now, okay, I want to work with someone from the Caribbean. I want to work with someone who's able to do these things because now I know who she is. So
Yeah.
I really had to remove fear from what that looked like. We've been taught to earn recognition, right? Where again, even me going back to school for a degree that no one in my family had, right? And it wasn't vanity. It wasn't trying to show off. I did it because one, I was trying to get promoted at work, and I wanted to just do it. I wanted to do it because one, again, being recognized for my worth, right? And again, this is just paper. And we know that God qualifies the call. He doesn't, there's a saying, he doesn't equip the call, he calls the equip. No, he doesn't call the equip, he equips the call, right? And I knew that I was qualified to do all the things. And one of the things we can do is create it. We can create it. I don't have to wait for somebody to make it happen. I can make it happen. Why? Because I know who I am and whose I am. One of the points is, again, fear of judgment. Oh, who does she think she is making her website with
that
her
part?
name,
That
right?
part.
Think that I am who I am because he is. Another talking point is fear of getting it wrong publicly. There's words that I can't say. Going back to the Caribbean, I might say it one way, some might say tomato, some might say tomato, and again, fear, it intertwines with that fear of judgment. People are going to talk about me because now I'm wearing the suit that I always wanted to wear. Now I'm on the stage that I prayed for. Who does she think she is? And the belief that good work should automatically be noticed. We know that it takes hard work, right? But we understand, if we believe in, and we had a conversation with Cookie Williams in regards to perspective, in regards to discipline, in regards to self-worth. If we know who we are, forget the naysayers, forget the outside noise, as I like to call it. We can, again, stand on faith versus fear. Call a thing, and that's our thing, right? Many women are not invisible. They're hiding in plain sight, and that was me. I was hiding in plain sight. Again, having a platform, hashtag her chosen story, interviewing women back to back, and posting. And I'm sitting there smiling, but no one knew who I was, hiding in plain sight. And again, it was fear of being judged. It was fear of not thinking I was good enough, or if I don't say the right word correctly. Even there was when we went to Georgia, Karon, in March, and I was doing the script, and I kept saying the words wrong. And you were like, you got this. Let's say it before we record it, and then put in that question mark verbally, and it was so good. And again, I love feedback. And some people cannot take feedback because they feel like, well, why is she telling me what to do? Because again, in order for us to be elevated, we have to be able to take criticism. We have to be able to learn, and that's how we're elevated. And I know for sure over these last few years, I have been elevated because of what I've experienced here. Reflection question, and this is for you, audience. Where have you been waiting to be discovered instead of making yourself known? And again, that could be social media. Where have you been waiting to be discovered? Maybe in your neighborhood. Maybe you want to serve so bad in your community, and you're like, oh, no one's going to notice me, right? This prophet told me that I will be celebrated in Lake Mary, Florida. I do not live in Lake Mary. I'm about maybe 15 minutes from Lake Mary. And I'm like, Lake Mary got some stush people. Who's going to celebrate me there? And now I'm making connections there. Didn't know that was going to happen. I got invited actually a weekend coming up to be a podcaster in the presence of Lisa Ray. And I'm like, me? I'm a podcaster? And I'm like,
yes, you are.
And I'm like, look at doors opening wide, because sometimes, again, we're so afraid. So the question remains, where are you waiting to be discovered instead of making yourself known? And I'm so happy and so humble for those opportunities. So I'm handing it over to you, Marcy. Even when women decide that they want to be more visible, or in regards to being more visible, many still struggle to show up consistently. Why do you think that is?
We, instead of being more visible, we've been told to go ahead and scale it back.
Mm.
You don't need to do all that. It doesn't
You're
take all.
doing too much.
Yeah, you're doing too much. Why?
Mhm.
And now that I know the personality that I have, my mother used to tell me all the time, you are a lot. You act like your Aunt Vera. Um, so with that, my Aunt Vera was she was short in stature, but when she walked in the room, she was a 6 foot giant because
Mm,
she took up
mm,
room. But I didn't understand, that. But also, like with my mom, she had to stay humble. And I mean, that was good for her. But now I get to walk in my birthright of not being invisible. Now, a little question. Visibility requires capability. Being seen creates discomfort before it creates opportunity. For many Black women, being seen creates a discomfort before it creates opportunity. Visibility can feel risky when they spend years navigating criticism, stereotypes, or the pressure to be everything for everyone. Stepping into the spotlight often requires confronting fears of judgment, rejection, and misunderstanding. Mm. But being seen is also where growth begins. When you allow yourself to be visible, you create a space for connection, leadership, influence, and new possibilities. The discomfort is not a sign to shrink. It's often the evidence that you're expanding beyond old limitations, stepping into a larger version of yourself.
mm-hmm.
So yes, she's waiting waiting for you to say yes, and yes to your capable worthiness and ready for the next step.
Amen.
Mm.
So good.
So with that, I want to go back to when you allow yourself to be visible, you create connections, the leadership, influence, and the new possibilities. But the discomfort is not to shrink. Um, and like we were saying, like I was saying, like my mother used to tell me, you act like your Aunt Vera. She did not want me to be my greatest. She didn't know those words were negative words against me. That's why we speak luxury words to ourselves. But she didn't know that she was breaking my spirit down.
Mm.
Because when you do things like that, when we tell our children what they can't be, you know, we're we're breaking. That's where we start breaking down our children. And then when they get to a certain age, you wonder, well, why they don't have no self-esteem? You told me what I couldn't be from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But when we change that around and we get to step into our own power, because that
Mm-hmm.
questions like how do we give our power away. But when we start to receive and reclaiming back the power that we gave away, we're able to step into the spotlight and be
Mm.
okay with it.
Good stuff.
So your nervous system often experience visible as exposure. So here's a few talking points. Fear fear of criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And we all sit here. Luckily, we are all speakers. We're all MCs. We're all teachers. Now, I just walked into this role and just realizing it. Because I was like, I'm not an MC. Like I said, I wasn't an author. It was about 4 years ago. I was at conference, and the lady said, "Write down I'm an author." I said, "I'm not writing down I'm an author because I ain't writing no books."
Yeah.
4 years later,
Uh-uh.
how many? One, two, three, four, and working on the fifth one. I am an author,
Won't he
but
do it?
that was I criticized myself,
Mm-hmm.
and that was something that was the self
Sabotage,
in me,
maybe. Mm.
and the fear of success. Like, if I'm successful, like I realized that I've sabotaged myself on so many occasions
Mm-hmm.
with procrastination, but that procrastination was definitely fear of success. And
Mm.
one more that I wanted, perfectionism, which that devil is a lie. Perfectionism is a form of trauma response. And when we do things from a trauma response, we can never do them good enough. If when you
That part. Mm-hmm.
no, everything has to be perfect. So what now? When I've run into this, especially out in this dating world, when men want try to have perfectionism, you better go ahead and go get you some therapy for that. But perfectionism is definitely a trauma response. That now, of course, we want to do things in excellence, but if everything has to be perfect, who hurt you to the point where, like, if your mother told you, if it wasn't perfect, then it wasn't right. If your father
Mm-hmm.
is strict, uh what is it, military, if it's not perfect, it's not right. No, I'm gonna do my best, and if it ain't perfect, it will still be all right. If did nobody die, we still good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love that.
So a practical reset. Visibility is a skill, not a personality trait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most, and even so, I'm an extrovert introvert. So
So
I'm a
ambivert.
ambivert. Yes, I'm an ambivert. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
a performer. I can be. It's been days when I be like, I don't feel like doing this, but when we hear that music, when I hear that music,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, I'm here for it. So
Mm-hmm.
I was born to do this.
Mm-hmm.
This technically, being a performer is my personality trait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it took me 50 plus years to walk into that and to know this is what is my calling. So
Mm-hmm.
it's never too late to
Mm-hmm.
reposition. And let's call a thing a thing. Perfection is often a socially accepted form of hiding. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, perfectionism, trauma, trauma
Yep.
results. So we talk about therapy. So if that's something that you have, I need you to talk to your therapist about it. And if you don't
Yes.
have one, go get one, because that is something you need to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a grounding prompt. What would you do different if you stopped worrying about being judged?
Mm.
Mm.
Real quick, I need us to take a when we're going to take a huge inhale, and then we just going to let it out. So we're going and then your shoulders drop.
Mm.
Then your shoulders, didn't something felt like there was an adjustment.
Yeah.
That's how it feels when you stop worrying about being judged.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people who you think are judging you,
Out getting ice cream.
I usually say they can't beat me. So, but they might, yeah, let them skip and get some ice cream. So
Yeah.
Yeah, stop work. And that's another thing that will stop greatness. What somebody else will think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, go somewhere and sit down.
Absolutely.
Karon, if visibility matters this much, how should women approach it strategically?
Ooh, that's a good point. Strategy is everything. I don't care what it is that you're dealing with. I don't care what it is that you need to get done. A strategy is how you approach it from a methodical standpoint. So I'm going to list off 5 visibility moves that you can make a part of your strategy when it comes down to being more visible. First, let's clarify what you want to be known for. Don't be getting in these streets, just hopping in these spaces, and people still don't listen. You're everywhere, but people still don't know who you are and what you do.
Right.
What are we doing here, folks? Let's make it clear. What do you want to be known for? Then share your expertise consistently. Consistently, not listen. If you're like me, and I'm working on this thing, y'all, I'll do some scheduling ahead of time. All right, I'm done with that. And then realize I only did it for 2 weeks. And then 2 more weeks go by, and I'm like, oh dang, I haven't put anything out in 2 weeks because I'm not being consistently checking to see what I have put out there. Next, share your speaking rooms where your audience exists. And this is something which this is what prompted a lot of my own personal rebranding. As everyone know, I started out in these streets as the affirmation whisperer. And not that affirmations have gone anywhere. They are still, thank you, Miss Marcy, they are still the foundation of what I do because words are so powerful in our advancement. However, understanding that for my own table and to get it into other tables, I needed to change my framework and my messaging. So thus came boldly became coming her, because as our words change, we become more bold about what we do. We step out into these spaces more boldly and more willingly and more consistently. So
Mm-hmm.
once I was able to do that, now getting into these rooms and speaking to midlife women about being more bold, that I can get that message in and
Yes.
then start sharing about speaking to themselves nicely.
Yes.
Document your work. This is something that our producer, before she became our producer, and she was in the other space with us, she would talk about how we would need to our she I think she called it assets. Our assets. And I'm like, what assets? I don't have any assets. What you talking about? I don't own nothing. Assets for our business. Document what you're doing. Have someone that take some pictures, someone to video, and it doesn't have to be like a professional. You want it to be nice, but sometimes when you're
Mm-hmm.
first starting out, you don't have thousands of dollars to invest in somebody to come in and do a recording of what you are doing. But
Yes.
document it. Have your process, your framework spilled out, because if someone say, hey, can you send me a brief synopsis of what your framework is, you can't do it right away because you have not documented it.
Yes.
Next and finally, after you've done 1 through 4, stop waiting for permission. God gave it to you, do like Miss Marcy said. She is a born performer, and I don't know why she listen. It ain't none of my business why she just not realizing it, because I've known it from day one that she's a performer naturally. And she makes Miss Marcy MC a show for me a little while back, and I said she does it so naturally. Now, maybe this was the time for her to realize it. I'm not going to take that from her, but stop waiting for permission. Please stop waiting for permission. So when
I
it comes
actually wanted
down,
to, I'm sorry, I wanted to add to that
go
because
ahead, go
when
ahead,
we
go
look at
ahead.
the 5 visibility moves, and I'm glad you mentioned our producer, because when she talks about that visibility, that evergreen, I
Mm-hmm.
believe it's a way that we can be visible, and working with professionals help. Like you said, it may not be something we can afford now, but have the conversation. I'm
Exactly.
not sure she offers a free consultation, but there's ways that we can be visible where you may not even understand it. And because, again, we are fearful, whether it's of
Yeah.
criticism, the success, because when you are visible on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all these different platforms, people they would see you. And again, even what you just said with having those assets, even if it's not professionally recorded for a campaign, put your phone somewhere and record yourself. People
That's
like
right.
they like the real deal. Like they want to see
Mm-hmm.
no filter. They just want to see you actually, oh, okay, that is a real person that's producing these books, publishing these books, writing these books,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
having these candles and all these things. So there's ways and there's people within our network, like our producer, the
Yeah.
brand Misfit, that we can connect with to be visible professionally too.
The tech conjurer.
There you go.
Mm.
Elevated Misfit.
Angela.
Conjurer. Thank you for that. And this is where you can find her, digital strategist.
Around.
Yes,
She got so many
BrooklynCustomDesign.com.
names.
There you go. This
Brooklyn.
episode was sponsored by.
Yes. Shelly.
Brooklyn Custom Designs.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so visibility, the talking point. So when it comes down to being visible, that's the one thing I can say about this. If you don't take anything else away from this, is have a strategy about your visibility.
Yes.
You're not just showing up anywhere and everywhere on Clubhouse. Lord, Clubhouse does what it does, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. But when I tell you, sometimes it just didn't make sense. Some of the rooms that you would see people going into, because they had this thing of letting you know when people went into certain rooms, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Now, sometimes you just went into spaces, even now, or you'll join Facebook groups or whatever the case may be because you're interested in it. But look, you got to be even careful with that, because if somebody's sitting back watching you, like, let me just, because people not always going to like your stuff, but they're paying attention to what you're doing. They're not
Oh,
always
yeah.
going to leave a comment, but they're paying attention to what you're doing. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to be very aware of where it is you're going. Make sure it's strategic, it aligns with what it is that you say you're doing. Because if I say I'm doing this that looks like that, but they see me over here that looks like something total opposite of what I say I'm doing, I'm sending a mixed message. Now you say,
Yeah.
well, sometimes I just like to go on Facebook, just be going to Facebook. But see, that's why you have a business page and you have a personal page.
Right.
Okay? Because on your business page is all about your business. On your personal, you do what you want to do on your personal. But still, you have to have a strategy about what you're doing. Be tactical about your approach.
Approach.
Share
Yeah.
share your lessons learned. Comment strategically. Ooh, this is so good. So I'm learning this about LinkedIn. I had a love-hate relationship for LinkedIn for a period. Love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. But then I realized LinkedIn is has a niche. And if I want the visibility I'm looking for on LinkedIn, I need to align myself with how to be tactical in that space. Strategically comment. That's how you get yourself noticed, by putting a comment on something that aligns with what you're doing. Making a comment here, making a comment there. And I'm not saying just anybody, just to be commenting, because I see that too, but strategically comment on different posts so that you get noticed and notice others get noticed too. And finally, we've said this a couple of times. This is just how important it is. Tell people what you actually do. Have a 5-minute pitch, have a elevator pitch, have a 10-second pitch, have pitches ready. So when you're asked what you do, you can give it to them in just a couple of words, or you can give it to them in a couple of paragraphs. Be ready. Be ready to present. Now, this last thing I want to do is, now the thing, call the thing a thing statement here is, if nobody knows what you do, you're making opportunity work too hard to find you. You're making
Amen.
opportunities work too hard to find you.
That's so good.
Action to take this week. This week, I challenge us, and I challenge anyone listening to the episode, whenever you listen to it, tell 5 people exactly what you do that you want to be known for. Tell them what you do. Now, see, but first, you know what got to come before you can do that, right? You got to have clarity about what you do. You've got to have clarity about what you do. So if you want to be known, well, what do you want to be known for? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to communicate that to someone? See that strategy? What, how, and when you're going to tell people. So not what you've done. People can care less about what you've done.
I want to
They
speak on
want
that
to,
real quick.
Okay. Okay.
There was
Peop-
someone I was networking with some years ago. He
mhm.
always talked about what he's done. Yeah, I and this was in early 90s. Yeah, I did this and I won this award. And I'm like, so what are you doing now? How can I help you now? Like what benefit is this giving, you and then me? Because
Mhm.
everything was in the past, and that's okay. The trophies that have the dust on it, great. What are you doing now? Either now or for the next generation. So I think that not what you've done, but tell people like what you're doing now and then how we can help each other grow now moving forward. A lot of people they're stuck in the past.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They really are. They really are. And I think if we as entrepreneurs, business owners, solopreneurs, whatever term you want to use, I think if we come from a perspective of how can I support the person that I'm seeking to support me, I literally look at it from that way. How can I
Givers
support this
game.
person that I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for them to support me?
Yeah.
I want to go to Miss X to ask her about this, that, or the third. I'm going to be prepared to say, hey, I believe that you and I can work together with X, Y, or Z. And while we're doing that, I would like to solicit your assistance with X, Y, or Z. So you see
Mm-hmm.
how I'm not coming just begging?
Yeah.
I'm coming offering how I believe we can work and we can massage that so
Yeah.
it serves us well, both of us well, but at the same time, I'm also asking for what it is that I want. So
Yeah.
my hand is just not out.
Right.
I'm
We call it
asking how
giver's
can I
game. Yeah, giver's
exactly.
game. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I believe as business owners, now, yes, we're out here to make money. We're not out here to give away everything for free. But I
Mm-hmm.
do believe in having a mindset of let me give because too much is given, much is required. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving, I'm always going to be receiving. I was
Mm-hmm.
listening to one of the albums, that creative, naturally creative. I forget what the her
Creative
medium.
naturalista.
That's it. I was
Mhm.
listening to one of her albums, and y'all will figure out who that is. Y'all know who that is soon enough. I was listening to one of her albums, and it was saying how um, I'm 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 already equipped. I have what I need. So as I give out, I'll never be empty because I'm filled from the
Mm-hmm.
core up.
Mm.
I'm filled from the core up. So I always have something to give without depleting myself. So if
Yeah.
I'm approaching my collaborations with, I have plenty to give and I'm not going to be emptied by giving them because I'm filled from the core up. I'm not filled from the top down. From the core up means that it's always coming up out of me to
Mm-hmm.
give, so I'll never be depleted. So if I'm coming to these collaborations, I'm coming to these partnerships from a mindset of giving before I ask for something, I believe that just really incites people to say, well, yeah, let's see how we can work together. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
about you doing everything for me and me doing nothing for you, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how that looks like. It's an exchange between us for a couple of reasons. More possibilities to work later on something else, as well as supporting each other. Because I'm gonna talk about you, you'll talk about me, and that's how the business grows. So
Mm-hmm.
having a mindset of giving, I believe, is a way that entrepreneurs should approach everything.
Yeah, that's good.
Not that we don't want to make money now. Let me be very clear about that. Okay, because we are out here to build a business. Miss Marcy, did you want to chime in on that before I give this final thing a thing and then get to our affirmations?
Definitely bartering with people, um, being in speaking, being in this realm. Everybody, we all need help doing something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I do love the community that I get to be in. And I know, like with Tyrese and I, we we be the shenanigans that will be happening with us. We'll be somewhere, and they be like, "Oh, can y'all come and speak? Oh, can y'all come bring y'all books?" That sure. And like, what do you want from us? We just don't want to sell books. We want to pour into people. So yes, it's a beautiful thing when we call it the bartering system, but when we can elevate, because that's what we do, elevate
Exactly.
one another. Um, and something like you said, everything doesn't have to be an exchange of currency. We are
Right.
here to make money, but
Mhm.
sometimes when we help somebody mentally, it's such a load off of them.
Yeah.
Mm,
And like you said, we're going to continue to stay blessed. We're going to continue to have the blessings overflow us. That's
mhm.
being said. So
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that ad, Miss Marcy. This final caller thing, I want to give this. Invisibility has a cost, y'all. Invisibility has a cost. It's costing you time. It's costing you effort. It's costing you creativity because all that you're doing in plain sight, hidden in plain sight, could literally be more actionable to you for you. It could really be something that creates something for you, but it's costing you all of that because you're hiding in plain sight. Most women simply never calculate that. They never think about, because I know I didn't. I'm like, well, let me put a little something out here on this platform. Let me put a little something out on that platform. But I really wasn't being visible. I was just doing to say, oh yeah, I did. I put stuff on Facebook. Girl, go to my page. Why I got to tell you to go to my page? Because if you was truly looking for me and I was being visible in a more consistent basis, I could be easily found. Easily found. So with that, y'all, I just want to encourage our listeners. One, make sure y'all subscribing. Do we have our we don't have our subscribe button up somewhere? Subscribe. You can find us very easily. Elevated Her, find
Mhm.
her and subscribe
There
because the
you go.
conversations that are going on here in this space here are all about women, and we
Mhm.
mean it when we say elevated her. You heard Ms. Marcy just said just a moment ago, we're always elevating in
Mhm.
one perspective. We're not talking about business, we're talking about our personal life. We're not talking about our personal life, we're talking about some portion of our lives, and this is the place to come to for that. So my affirmation, y'all, my affirmation, I don't know that we're gonna have those on the yes, we are. I allow my experience to be seen and recognized.
Yes.
I do not diminish my value to make others comfortable.
Mm,
I'm willing to be visible before I feel perfectly ready. Yeah.
mm.
In our scripture, no one lights a lamp and puts it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. And we are that light. Matthew
Yes.
5, verse 15. We will
Yeah,
not be under a bowl.
love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you again, everyone. I'm under the other name. We had a name that we called our audience. Nothing has dropped in my spirit yet about what I want to call our audience, but I always want to acknowledge you. Thank you for listening. We
Our
are up to,
elevators,
huh?
the elevators.
I thought about that, but I was like, let's be that we came up with the same word. Okay, elevators, not tours, elevators, because we're all elevating. Thank you for being here. You guys helped us get to 25K watchers. Our videos totality have been watched over 25,000 times, and I'm so
Beautiful.
excited about that. We are
Yay.
looking for the next level because we're always elevating. Thank you guys for being here. And remember, middle age is not about ending, it's about repositioning.
Repositioning. Yes.
Right? See y'all next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
For the woman becoming Elevate H.E.R. Elevate H.E.R.